if Garoppolo does get traded and he agrees to get traded and he does get traded, then clearly then they will have seen enough from Lance in the regular season prior to the trade deadline to feel comfortable going ahead and doing that. So if it is a bet hedge, in a way, against Lance's ability to get to a level to take this team to the Super Bowl, which we've already established in this conversation they could do, what have you seen on film that clearly Shanahan and Lynch and the rest of the front office there have seen in the preseason that gives them a bit of pause to say, okay, we can just go into the season, it's Lance's gig, ups, downs, the whole bag of, the whole schmear, we're willing to deal with it. What's on film?
I mean, to me, it's lack of consistency. And the first thing we always have to remember is that he didn't play a lot, really over the last 3 years. And so I can, again, liken it to my situation where I played 1 year in college. And playing 1 year in college, you don't get to see all the situational football and come to understand how to manage every situation like you do when you play year after year after year. And so when I got cut in the NFL and went and played in all these other leagues, I got to experience all kinds of situational football that made me more ready for when I came back with the Rams later on. And so that's one of the things is, his lack of consistency through different situations has been one thing that I've noticed. There's some things from a technique standpoint that to me need to be cleaned up, or it's going to be tough for him to be consistently accurate. And then it always comes down to decision-making at the quarterback spot. Being able to see the field and understand what you're looking at and work through your reads and progressions quickly. Those are all things that we've seen moments from Trey Lance, but we haven't seen consistency. It doesn't matter if you look at last year when he played. It doesn't matter if you look at preseason. There's a lot of ups and downs with him just in the normal course of playing the position. And so, those are the things that I saw in college. Those are the things that I'm still seeing now. And the question always becomes, how long will it take for, these guys to show us what they're going to be at this level? And will those, consistency issues continue to show up not only this year but throughout his career? Those are the questions that I'm looking to get answered, because I've seen very similar things in each of the stints that he's played, college last year and in the preseason.
So then I guess it does. I mean, man, it's just going to be fascinating, Kurt. Like, Hoskins, can you put their schedule up, please? I'm talking to my CP about putting the schedule up here, because it is, I guess, does it matter how fast they start, right? I mean, and in that regard, they're at the Bears, they're home for the Seahawks, at Denver, home for the Rams. That's the first 4 weeks. I mean, you got to figure they're going to give Lance all the ups and downs no matter what, as long as he's healthy, the first 8 games, right? They play the Rams twice in the first 8 games. I'm just wondering how it goes, right? I mean, there's no plan for it. You've got to have a feel. Clearly, Shanahan is terrific. So he knows his offense. He'll probably know pre-snap what needs to be done, and if it's not done, he'll notice it on the spot. Obviously, he'll look at the film, too. I just can't wait to see this play out. I mean, what's your sense of it, Kurt?
I think it really does come down to, do they feel he's that guy or not?
They got him. Now, they drafted him. They went ahead.
No, you don't have to. I mean, you have to think at the time when you draft him he's going to be.
Right.
But now being with them for 2 years, and they made the commitment to him. But really, I mean, we can say a lot of different things, right? Okay, we know we drafted him. We gave up a lot. We've got to play him. And so we've got to come out and say, oh, he's the guy. Like we've seen it. He's got all this. But inside, those guys know if they believe that or not. And so that, to me, is going to be very telling with how the season plays out. If they truly believe he is that guy, and they've seen what they've seen in practice and on a daily basis and his leadership and all that stuff, then I don't think it matters how many ups and downs he goes through. Even if this year becomes a throwaway year as a team, I think they stay with him all year. If there's parts of them that inside are saying, we're not sure. I'm not sure this is the guy, and here's why. And then they go through half the season, and all of those things in their mind continue to show up, like, it's what we thought, it's what we thought, it's what we thought. That's when you have to start going, okay, can we step away from this guy that we gave up all these draft picks and everything for? And A, can we go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, or B, do we need to go somewhere else if Jimmy's not there, whatever? But that, to me, will be the telling sign as we watch this season play out. If there are those bumps in the road, that how convicted is the organization that they made the right decision and he will be a long-term starter and championship-type quarterback for this team, because I believe that's what both Coach Shanahan and John Lynch are looking for. That's why they made this move, when they had Jimmy Garoppolo, is because they don't believe Jimmy is a top 5 quarterback. He can be top 15, top 20, good quarterback, starting quarterback, but not that guy. So that's why they made this move to begin with, because they didn't believe Jimmy was that guy. They need to be convicted in regards to Trey Lance being that guy, or why do you not go and do the same thing you did to Jimmy, going, well, okay, we don't think he's that guy. We got to go get the guy. And so, again, it's going to be fascinating because you know what people have to say right now. But let's look at this thing 8 games into the season and how he's playing and where the team is, and we'll see if that that same feeling, and energy towards Trey Lance we've seen this whole offseason is still there with the coaches. I mean, you heard Coach Shanahan even after the last preseason game say, like, I wish I could get Trey more reps, but he's as ready as he can be right now. That to me sounds like a coach that's saying, I don't think he's fully ready for everything that's going to come his way. He's not quite there yet, even though season's around the corner. We got to go with it. So, those are the kind of things that I'll be paying attention to from inside the organization.
So before I let you go, Kurt Warner, how much exposure have you had to Lance? Talk to him. How do you think he's going to handle this? What's your gut?
I actually did get to go to camp and got to interview him at camp and talk to him a little bit and really like the young man. Talking to guys, you really did get the sense that they love the young man, the leadership, his attention to being great. So that part of it, I got no question from anybody that he wasn't the right guy from that standpoint. So I really enjoyed talking to him and felt like he was asking me some questions and really felt like he wanted to be great. I just think he's a very young guy that hasn't played a lot of football. And so we don't fully know what he can be yet. But I really liked that part of it. And I got that sense that, man, he was willing to do what needed to be done. And they were really excited about that piece, that he was in early and he was talking to even, the Montanas and the Youngs and reaching out to those guys and trying to glean as much as he could from anybody that was willing to give him some help. So I did get the sense that they're fully behind him as a young man and as a leader. Now it's just can the play equal what they believe they have in the person?